Capitol Day. This is our 18th Capitol Day, and we started off back the first year with the idea of having a lunchtime event with the morning sessions, and everybody said, no one will come. And this model has been very effective, and it's been a lot of fun. And it's a lot of fun to have you all get on buses and go to our wonderful state capitol. So we're going to hear from some speakers here today, this morning. We'll get on buses about 10:30. We'll cram into room 216. Not everybody will fit, but there are video out in the lobby, so you can hear what's going on. But it's a good chance to meet members of the legislature. We do have elected officials here. I can't introduce you all by name, but any of our elected officials, if you'll stand up, let's recognize you this morning. Thank you all for being here, our elected officials. So I know we have quite a few. And of course, there will be more at the Capitol. Now, MEC runs on the strength of volunteer leadership. It's our volunteers, folks just like all of you, our members, 10,000 of them around the state, and our volunteer leaders who keep MEC going. So anyone who's involved in our leadership through a board at MEC, if you'll stand, we'd like to recognize you. Thank you for your great service. Thank you. And the head of that effort this year, of all our volunteers working so hard, is someone who's one of the hardest working volunteers I've ever worked with in my career, and that's Robin Robinson. Robin and I first met when she was active as an alumnus of our Leadership Mississippi program. She had been involved in MEC for probably almost a decade before I came here 19 years ago. And no job was too big, no job was too small. Robin was the quintessential volunteer, and she continues to be so today. She has chaired many of our affiliate organizations, the Swayze Founded Leadership Mississippi. She's been involved so heavily in helping promote that program, and conducted a 13-city tour on encouraging our members to be more involved in volunteerism called Link-A-Life. Back probably the third or fourth year I was here, and boy, did she get a workout. And she got to see parts of the state that she didn't even know really existed. She has a little tiny job down in Laurel, Mississippi. You know, she's in charge of about 13,000 employees located in 4 different states. It's Sanderson Farms Chicken. And they are one of the greatest corporate partners we have here in Mississippi. As you know, Joe Sanderson, her boss, chairs our transportation effort today, and in addition to that, embraced the PGA championship that was about to leave our state here in Mississippi, and has built that into an incredible brand builder for the Blair E. Batson Hospital, as well as a charitable revenue generator for it, and Robin is heavily involved in that effort as well. She is basically in charge of all human resources, communications at Sanderson Farms, but she's also on the operating team for that company, and her influence and involvement stretches even beyond what her title suggests. That carries through here at MEC. She's an effective leader, she's an exceptional spokesperson, and we are grateful for her many years of service at MEC. Please join me in welcoming our chair, Robin Robinson from Sanderson Farms.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be here for Capitol Day, and thank you, Blake, for that very nice introduction. I want to say a special welcome to everyone. Just look around the room. This room is full with excitement about the day, so thank you so much for being here. And what a great day it is to be in Jackson to talk about transforming our state. We're glad that you are part of MEC's Capitol Day. This is a very important event, not only because it's the kickoff for the 2017 legislative session, it also provides an opportunity for you, each of you in the room, to discuss how we, as business leaders, as community leaders, can continue to help create a stronger, more competitive Mississippi? How can we put Mississippi in the place of greatest opportunity? Well, how do we do that? How do we put Mississippi in the place of greatest opportunity? Well, as community leaders and as business leaders, there are several things that we need to focus on. The very first thing we need to focus on is economic competitiveness. Economic competitiveness. The second thing we need to focus on is education and workforce development. The third thing is resources and infrastructure, and last is technology advancement. At Capitol Day, you have a very unique opportunity to visit with our state leaders, our state legislators, and for you to share what's most important to you. What an exciting opportunity that is. It gives you the opportunity to meet one-on-one with legislators from your area. This is a great time to come together as business leaders and elected officials and talk about the important issues. The important issues, the future of our state, and how we can make Mississippi more competitive. What a great state we live in. Our goal at MEC is to leave our communities and to leave our state better than we found it. And I know that's your goal too in your local area. And that's certainly my goal. Mississippi is an extraordinary place to call home. It's an extraordinary place to live and to invest and to work, where people are happy and enjoy a good quality of life. And we're able to do that because of you. Take just a minute to look around the room at our people who are here, our community leaders, our volunteers. Because of you, Mississippi is a great place to live. At MEC, we work every day on Transformation Mississippi. A key element in doing that is, as I said earlier, is focusing on education and workforce development. As leaders, we must continue to look for innovative ways to improve educational opportunities for all. Education is a lifelong process, and that is why MEC focuses on so many education initiatives. Education matters. Education matters. When a young boy arrives for his first day of school in Laurel, my hometown, and he doesn't know how to hold a pencil, that matters to me. When a young woman on the Gulf Coast drops out of 8th grade because she can't read and she's embarrassed, that matters to me, and I know it matters to you too. When a young man in North Mississippi doesn't want to graduate, he drops out in 9th grade because he just can't see the importance of a high school education. That matters to me, it matters to you, and it matters to the Mississippi Economic Council. The Rand Corporation did a study many years ago, and that study revealed that if we choose, us in this room, if we choose to give young people and young adults hope, if we give them hope to be able to go to college, hope to get a job, that hope will deter drug use, it will deter teen pregnancy, and it will improve our dropout rate. With the help of the community leaders we have in this room, the MEC members and elected officials, MEC is making a difference in the lives of young people and families because we give those people hope. We give them hope. Now, how do we do that at MEC? How many of you have heard of Mississippi Scholars Program? We're giving young people hope with the Mississippi Scholars Program. How about Techmaster Program? Absolutely. We're giving young people hope and families hope. Those programs are great examples of what we can do as an organization from the grassroots. And thank you for your support of those programs. Those programs raise students' self-esteem, it gives them hope, and prepares them for a job and perhaps to go on to college. MEC continues to honor the state's top graduating seniors through the STAR Student Program. In fact, over the last 20 years, more than $1.3 million have been awarded to the STAR students through the scholarships provided by the Kelly Jean Cook Charitable Foundation. That is a big boost for people to attend college and be prepared to have a good job. MEC hosts the second oldest leadership program in the country, Leadership Mississippi. How many are Leadership Mississippi graduates in the room? Yay, what a great crowd that is, graduates of Leadership Mississippi. Well, a great class for 2017 has been selected, and the program actually starts right here in Jackson on February 2nd. And if you are an alumni of the program, like many of you are, we hope that you'll stay involved and attend those leadership programs. Now, another vitally important factor for Mississippi growing our competitiveness and a strong workforce, we must have a workforce is our top priority. Research shows that when businesses begin looking for a place to locate, what are they looking for? They're looking for a prepared workforce. And also we need that prepared workforce when you all start to expand your businesses. During last year's session, MEC worked with Governor Bryant, and thank you for being here today and all that you do. Thank you. We worked with Lieutenant Governor Reeves, Speaker Gunn, and the legislative leadership to pass the Mississippi Works Fund, which provides additional training dollars for workforce every year. Now that's exciting when you look at Mississippi. Yay. This gives our young people hope. It gives Mississippians an opportunity to become workforce ready and prepared for the jobs of the future. Continuing to focus on ways to strengthen workforce will be a top priority for MEC now and in the future. At MEC, we're always looking for ways to improve the state's economy. That's why over the past 2 years, our MEC Blueprint Transportation Task Force, chaired by my boss, Joe Sanderson, conducted extensive, and the key word here is independent research that outlines the importance of preserving our transportation system at the state and local levels. A strong transportation system is vital for growing our economy, and it's and most importantly, it is extremely important for protecting our citizens by providing safe and reliable roadways. I hope that you'll take time to learn more about Accelerate Mississippi. This initiative you can find on our website. It's extremely important when we think about Mississippi's economy and our competitiveness. Collectively, we can make a difference. Collectively, we can make a difference if we continue to focus on those things I spoke about earlier. Economic competitiveness, education and workforce development, and resources and infrastructure. And I want to pause and say a special thank you to Blake and to Scott and their awesome team at MEC. Do we have any of the team here? Thank you, Blake. What a great job that team does for our state. I especially want to thank our speakers that will be part of today's activities for sharing your thoughts and your ideas with us. It is absolutely amazing what we can accomplish working together. I said this at the beginning, and I want to close with this. Our goal at MEC is to leave our state and our communities better than we found it. Mississippi is an extraordinary place to live, an extraordinary place to work, and an extraordinary place to invest. Thank you for all that you do for improving the quality of life for our Mississippians. Thank you for being here today, and I look forward to a great Capitol Day. Woohoo! Thank you. It's important for business leaders to get involved with MEC because we are the state chamber. We are the voice of business. And of course, you know there's power in numbers, so that's the importance of being part of MEC. And the importance of being here today is to show our elected officials that we're all speaking with one voice. We want our bridges, our roads repaired, we want to be competitive with our neighboring states, and we want to improve the life of our citizens in Mississippi. So we're excited to be part of all of that.
Got an interesting message this morning from a guy who has really done a lot for this state. in an area that is mostly keeping track of things. But he's made it easier to keep track of things. He's made it easier to track charitable organizations. He's made it easier to track corporations. He's made it more attractive for corporations to locate their business here, which means more tax revenue. And most of all, he's focused on getting the most out of a department with the least investment. He's done a great job for the state. He's got an agenda for business. That's where we always hear from our Secretary of State, because he's focused on our agenda items. Please join me in welcoming Secretary of State for Mississippi, Delbert Hosemann.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. It's, you know, I don't know about y'all, but you sit out here and you listen to Rod, you listen to Phil, and you start thinking, man, we got something going here, and we do in Mississippi. And it's a great message that they're giving. I want to start by telling you a little story that happened to me. When I had my grandchild, one of my grandchildren was with me, so I stubbed my toe and cut it a little bit. So I was sitting there, and Carson came in, and I took a Band-Aid, and I got my Band-Aid out, and you know, just like the other ones of us that are in this room, I ripped it from the side, and I ripped it from the other side, and I couldn't get it out. So I pulled it down, and then I said, well, this one's all broke, and I throw it on the ground, picked up another one. She's standing there watching me. And so I tried another one. I tried it from the side, and I couldn't get the sticky right and everything like that, and she's still watching me. She goes over and she takes the Band-Aid out. She comes over to me, she says, Dees, that's my grandfather's name. She says, Dees, it says right here, you just pull down from the top. She pulled down from the top and handed me my Band-Aid. And I said to her, I said, Carson, I love you. And I am so glad you're not old enough to run for Secretary of State. Sometimes we just need to read the directions. And that's what I want to talk about today. The last couple of years, the last year, we've been active. Those on the Gulf Coast, it's great to see Mr. Slogle here today and things they've done. We acquired Cat Island about 2 months ago. Took 4 years to do it. We didn't pay anything for it. It was deeded to the state of Mississippi. It's a great resource to go with Deer Island down there, and 31,000 acres that Secretary Clark and I have acquired over a few years for Mississippi Gulf Coast. That'll be there in perpetuity. It'll be there for my grandchildren. It'll be there for your children. I hope you'll go and enjoy it. And he's right, Blake's right. We did have y'all business. If you haven't looked on the website, your competition is. Y'all business analyzes every county, not only the census data, but it analyzes all of the other data, the consumer data. They can tell you how many people drink bottled water. They can tell you where the banks are, Jerry. They can tell you everything you want to know about a county, and it's free. No other state has anything like it. Our state Secretary of State website now, when I started, got 2 million hits this year, has 12 million hits on it. And we're steady selling Mississippi every time we can. You'd be surprised, tens of thousands of people are looking at you and looking at each of your counties and determining whether they want to go do business there. And it's got great information on there. I mean, how you use an iPad, it just structures everything you need on it. So we're real pleased to y'all business. Y'all did something else this year. Phil was good to announce his stuff, but in November you had an election for President of the United States. 99.9% of you showed up with an ID. We never got sued over voter ID in Mississippi. We implemented it because you did it right. A lot of us worked hard on it, but 1.2 million of you showed up with an ID. And another interesting thing that happened in that, there were no federal observers, no federal monitors in Mississippi this year. Yes, sir. 28 states had federal monitors come to them because there may be racial discrimination. Massachusetts, New York, Connecticut, 28 states, but not Mississippi. What a historical day for us, 200 years later, for us to have that kind of participation, that we trusted each other. And that's the recipe that Mississippi is going to build on. That's where we're going. That's what you'll use to go and address all the issues, transportation issues, tax issues, economic issues. They'll all be that recipe, that collective intellect like we have is what makes us go. That's what makes you go, and that's why you're here today. A couple of things that we're going over at the Capitol, working on a new PID law, Public Improvement District law, that we've had great troubles with that. Many of them have gone bankrupt. They eschewed back to the state of Mississippi, caused great problems. So we're advancing a new Public Improvement District law. We've got some laws that we proposed 2 years ago. We'll be proposing again where we take offshore money and bring it back to Mississippi to help and drive investment in Mississippi. That hasn't been done in other states. It's a good chance for us to do that because the President of the United States, the new President-elect, is fixing to come up with tax benefits to bring $1 trillion back into the United States. We want to bring them back to Mississippi. In addition to that, we've got some legislation on vulnerable adults. For years, and Blake was right, we do charities and we do securities, and as you know, if you read the paper, we had a $5 million claim against a national securities company that we collected this year. But when we look at that, we see our population aging more and more dollars there, more dollars to invest, stock market is up, that kind of thing, and we find our vulnerable adults being preyed upon. That's what we did in November in the settlement decisions that you saw from us. So the new statute will allow those individuals to again come to us, come to the Attorney General, come to the Secretary of State, and outline why they think they ought not have this money moved from a vulnerable adult to somebody overseas or somebody that it shouldn't be. New statutes that we need to talk about. Election reform, y'all, we did good last year. The legislature was good to us on criminal matters. They were good to us on allow us to change your address by going online. We've already implemented all of that. We're the most automated Secretary of State in the country. We don't take paper anymore. It saved us about $200,000 a year in mail-outs. But as they look at all of that, we haven't completed everything. There are two parts that we'll be working on this year. First is the election code itself, and there's a lot of operations in there that bore you to tears, but staggering election commissioners, making sure that every person that works in that polling booth has been trained to be there. Those kind of things that make the system go well are in our election reform package. The second part is campaign finance reform. We proposed that 2 years ago. We worked on it last year, got right to the end, and it died, last day of the session. You have the right to know who made contributions to Delbert. You have the right to know who made contributions to everywhere else. We have already set up the system now at the state where you can search this publicly. And we'll be working with the members of the legislature to file all their forms online. You'll be able to look everything up, and campaign finance reform is part of that. We don't need to hide the ball in Mississippi about who did what for what. It's all there and all should be disclosed. The last thing I want to talk to you real quickly about is this education thing. I'll tell you this about me. When people come up to me and they say, this is what's wrong with the government. Let me tell you what you did. Let me tell you what the government did wrong. And I say, did you vote? If they voted, I sit right there. I want to hear what they say. If they didn't vote, I ask them, write me a letter at the office. I'll read it when I'm at work. The same thing applies to education. The same thing applies to y'all. I went to Vicksburg. I've been 2 or 3 times. I'll be back 2 or 3 weeks from now again to go. I've sat in the little chairs in kindergarten. And one time, y'all, I was walking through, following the kindergarten grade through, and they're all just little bitties, and the teacher makes them get in a row. So I'm walking along. The last little girl looks back at me. She says, "You need to get in line." So I said, "Oh, yes, ma'am." So I got in line, and there were 18 little bitties and me walking through, and we went through the first part where people come to pick up their kids if they're sick or something. One guy turned to another and he said, "I don't think we have to worry about social promotion here. They got a 60-year-old man in the back here." They're doing something called Leader in Me, where each and every one of them, you open the door and speak to them, they shake your hands, look you in the eye, and say, I'm special. Each one of us is special. They're doing, it's one of 3 schools. They're doing another thing where they do robotics classes, and they're triggering back and forth with Hines Junior College, where they're teaching people have to take junior college classes in high school. Your workforce is not just in the 12th grade. Don't say there's something wrong with our schools. They're your schools. Don't write a letter. Go get involved. Teach somebody, sponsor somebody, have them come shadow you. Give your employee a day off to go work on the PTA. Read to somebody. Whatever you do will be helpful. And Phil is so right. When you look at it, your workforce is not just in the 12th grade, it's 8th, 9th, and 10th grade. It's when they're taking those steps to get that one more course at Hines Junior College or at Itawamba. That's where they'll come to you. That's where your co-workers will be. And it's not just that. Remember about reading the directions? The fellow employees for my grandchildren and your children are in the 3rd grade, the 2nd grade, the 1st grade, yeah, kindergarten, and we need pre-K. Only 6% of the kids get pre-K, and when they take that, 1.5 times more likely to read in the 3rd grade. That's where we need to be. The leaders of tomorrow come from the leaders and are sculpted from the leaders of today. That's you. That's each one of you. So I would encourage you so much. Phil's done a great job on this. And our school systems are coming in, improving, working. I see it in Vicksburg. I want us to take that elsewhere. I encourage you so much to get involved on any level, whatever you feel comfortable with. It'll pay such dividends. I don't need to talk about dividends to y'all. Such dividends to you and to your children and to your grandchildren. We know what the directions are. We just need to read the directions, just like my grandchild told me. It's such an honor to be here today. I'm so pleased to have Blake invite me every time. We wouldn't do anything economically in Mississippi without people in this room. Your time, your talent, your golf tournaments, all the things you do, Robin, for the state of Mississippi, drive the economic engine and set the bar where we're going. And I appreciate each and every one of you. It's a great honor for me to be able to have any service for you. I've got to go back to the Capitol. They're already starting on my budget. So I got to go over there and talk to them. I got some meetings at 10:30 on things we're doing. It's a real honor to be with y'all. Have a great day. I'll see you at lunch after I get back. Thank you so much.